In this demonstration, we are going to take a look at Avoca SmartForm Factory. Avoca SmartForm Factory is an electronic form software solution that makes electronic and mobile data capture quick and simple. It reduces the time, cost, and problems inherent with paper-based forms by enabling organizations to deliver digital self-service on any platform and to achieve greater customer experiences. To accomplish this, there are three main areas. First, the form creation. For this, we will use Avoca SmartForm Composer. Secondly, the management of the forms and business rules, which we'll use SmartForm Manager for. And finally, the user experience, meaning how our customers will interact with the forms. For this, we can use Avoca Self-Service Portal, as well as integration into existing websites, portals, or even smartphones and tablets. To get started, let's take a look at one of these forms in action. Okay, when we launch SmartForm Composer, first thing we notice is it's a browser-based application, so I can access it from any browser. Don't have to install anything on my machine. And then I'm presented with an accordion on the left-hand side, depending on my rights as my user set up. I'll see different things, some of which may be projects that I'm associated with, so each developer can be a part of different projects or a single project. So in this case, I've got a project called Demonstration. There's an insurance demo form already built that kind of pre-built for us here. I could obviously create new forms as well. In this case, we're going to open up the one that I've pre-built. And we can see when we come into Composer, we're presented with the structure, so what's in the form here, as well as what the wireframe looks like here, so what the rendition of the form is. And then over on the left-hand side is everything I can add to the form, so the palette of all the widgets and the pre-built functionality that is there for me to use. Let's say I wanted to add a little bit of functionality to this. We have a section called Additional Questions, but maybe those questions really should only be asked if a certain value somewhere else in the form, had been answered in a certain way. So in this case, we can come in and say our visibility rule for this section, so that whole section of questions, is going to be based on a rule. And a rule is simply just point and click to anything on our form. So here we'll go over to the household income. There's some questions there. We'll look at question number 1, look at that and say, well, if they answer yes to question number 1, then we want to show that whole section of form. We can save that. And if we preview that form, it'll render that open for us. And now what we can see is now we don't see those additional questions showing up in the tree. So as I go through the form, they're not going to be there for me to fill out. However, if I do come in and answer yes to this question, now a whole nother section of the form is answered. So, and those rules, obviously I showed you a very simple rule, but those rules can be complex in nature and or type logic, and you can pretty much build whatever you want into. So you can imagine the application as it is really can encompass multiple forms, all the business rules that are required, and encapsulate all that data to make sure that the information that we collect is exactly what we want feeding back into the organization. So now what we want to do is actually see it in action. So let's see this form being used. All right, let's open up a browser with our company portal. This type of portal functionality is out of the box with SmartForm Factory, but can also integrate to existing sites and portals. So in this case, we need to log in. So I can come in. I've got a login already on this portal. If I didn't, I could request access. If I forgot my password, all those kind of functionalities are built in. I'm presented with the base functionality that I'm going to need to interact with the portal, so the ability to find the forms or services I want to apply for. I can also track submissions, so things that maybe I came in a week earlier and submitted an application. I could come back and see what the current status was, get a copy for things for my records if I want. And then I've got the capability of to-do, so if I stop maybe in the middle of processing a form, filling out a form, and I want to come back to it, I could go and access that via my to-do capability. Or if I submitted an application and the organization needed to have me fill out additional form or forms, they could assign that to me in my to-do list as well, and I will see that, as well as receive an email letting me know I need to do that. And then I've got account details. These are things that you can set up for the portal users to track things like name, email, address, different things like that you want to track. So in this case, we're going to come in, find a form. So I've got search capability. I'll search for insurance, and we can see a couple different forms. I've got an HTML and a PDF version. That's all done with one form design, as we talked about before. Here I'm going to open up the HTML version. I'm presented with a landing page, so additional information can go here, qualification information, as well as keywords and metadata that you might use for search engines to pick up if this is a public-facing form. In this case, I'll move forward to the form. I'm presented with the form that we designed in Composer. It's all HTML, and all the best practices around form, are there for me right out of the box. As I can see here with the red asterisks for required fields, and so you can see we've got my name already filled in here, so there was some pre-population that was done. That was SmartForm Manager looking at the rules and knowing the pre-population. I'll delete out my name, and we can see if I come down here and actually hit Submit Now, we'll see some of those best practices that we were talking about. So in this case, I've got a required field that I did not fill in. So you can imagine as I could be anywhere over here in this navigation area, so I could be anywhere in this big form, and here quickly I can see the two fields that are left for me to go to. So I could say, well, I need to fill out this this name. I could go to the issue. As you can see, my name is, or my cursor is put into that last name field. I can fill that out. I could go to the next issue as well. It takes me directly to the section. You'll notice I've navigated differently. I've still got the highlighted capability. Now, one thing you'll notice here, if I say yes, you'll notice this additional questions has popped up. So the form is acting dynamically for me. So in this case, by saying yes here, I've got additional questions. If I say no, we can see that goes back away. And so we get this nice best practice around that. If I hit refresh here now, our validations have all been met. So again, now we're going to ensure that all the correct data is filled out and all the validations, have been passed before you submit back to the server. We've also got a lot of dynamic capabilities here, so you can see I've got subforms where I can have multiple pieces of a form. So instead of having to build space for 20 but they may only have 2, you can allow the user to push in as much as they want. And again, all of this type functionality is built in SmartForm Composer without having to do any kind of code to put this. So you're really kind of putting the business owner in power to do this type of form. So next, let's take a look at what this might look like on a mobile device. So what I'll do is open up a camera onto my desktop. And so here I'll slide my tablet into place. And so we can see the exact same interface that we saw before, and we can start using that. So we'll go in and open up our HTML form. So again, this is the exact same form that we saw just a second ago on the desktop. But now what we'll notice when we come in and open this form is SmartForm Manager has detected the fact that we are on a tablet device in this case, and it's optimized that for this particular device. So we can see now, the buttons are built for, the finger type gestures or the bigger buttons. So what would I expect on this? The slide up and down gestures are there for me. And then all the best practices around, form filling and making sure things are put in place are all still there and enforced into the form. So let's go through a submission here. So I click on the signature page, and then I can basically come in. My form is all filled out. I could come in, sign the form, hit submit, and basically we're submitting that back to SmartForm Manager. It's said all the requirements are made. Had there been attachments or other things that are need be, we would have been presented with that. But now I get the ability to actually pull up a receipt. So I could click that. So right here on my device, I could hit sending me back a PDF, and now we can see a flattened PDF with all our information that we filled out in there. And if I scroll down, we'll see my signature at the bottom of the form. So here we saw one form design. We saw it presented in HTML, available in PDF, and also tailored to a mobile device, and went through all the way through form submission. So that's a quick look at Avoca SmartForm Factory. We've seen how organizations can empower business teams to create more forms and services and do that in less time, at less cost, and deliver those forms and services on any device. Thank you.